Hello, this is Angela with Parkos Permaculture. I am back for part 2 of my late April tour of what is going on in my permaculture garden. Now, yesterday I talked about the front yard and how things are looking there, and today I thought I'd talk about the woodland garden and the backyard a little bit. I won't have time to cover all of it, but I also want to focus on some of the mess and chaos and reality of doing permaculture in the real world with a real family and a real life, and focus on how things are doing really well in the garden, but there's still a lot of imperfection, and that's still okay. So come follow me out to the woodland garden and we'll start there, showing you a little bit of what is blooming and what is producing fruit and what is looking gorgeous and what is maybe unexpected or struggling a little bit, or some of the oopsies I have in my garden right now. So let's go walk over to the woodland section. So here in the woodland garden, the white currants, which are really shade tolerant, are starting to set fruit. You can see down here my Dicentra formosa, native bleeding heart, is kind of getting a little sad, kind of past her prime, right when this geranium is beginning to bloom. I love how it looks underneath this hosta. Great bee food. Look at how easy it is for pollinators to access this flower. I will sing the praises of hardy geraniums until the end of time. I think they're a great plant for permaculture. Now behind it, over here, thimbleberries are just beginning to bloom. I think they look very much like an antique old simple rose, but they're actually related to raspberries. Great native fruit plant, beautiful. Beautiful all year long. What a difference a week makes. Cecile Brunner, one of my favorite old rambling roses, really starting to come into her own. This rose always gets some black spot. I never do anything about it. She looks big and healthy and flowers consistently. I don't stress. I don't do much to help my roses. They have to be hardy and resilient to do well here. So here I'm going to get real excited because this is my female hardy kiwi. She has a lot of buds on her this year. Later this year I will be doing a video on how to prune hardy kiwis. I prune them 3 times a year to keep them controlled and to encourage good flowering. Now, I do have problems with squirrels eating my hardy kiwis about 3 days before I'm ready to pick them. So I'm hoping this year we will have enough of a monster fruit set that I can share with the neighborhood squirrels. We'll see. But very excited about the prospects here. Look at all these buds everywhere. So I do have some issues with my female hardy kiwi. She's supposed to go up and over this shed, and she's very heavy and her own weight tends to pull her off. So I need to tie her up better. It's just a constant issue of her flopping over. Gravity and her own weight tend to do it to her. And when I say her, I do mean her, because there are female plants and male plants. My male is over here. And you need 1 male for every 6 females or so in order to get fruit. And again, I'm gonna make a video later in the year, because the last several videos, that's probably the most requested thing, is for me to talk about my hardy kiwis. So I'll be doing that later after they are in full flower and starting to set fruit. Okay, right now I don't know if you can see this. Oh my goodness, there are a bunch of woodpeckers in my Negron fig tree right now. I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit closer. They appear to be testing the immature fruit. They must be looking for bugs in them because they're so full of latex. There's nothing There's nothing to eat in them right now. I'm not sure what they're doing. So now we're down below the snow-grown fig. You can hear woodpeckers calling in the background. And this is my Clematis Montana. I actually have two different varieties. Clematis Montana is just about my favorite. Oh, chicken sees me and thinks she's gonna get a treat. This is a really easy to grow, not fussy clematis that tolerates quite a bit of shade. That's Violet. She's a chatty girl. This is an easy to grow plant. Now it does get very large, but you can just kind of hack it back and it's very happy. So if you're looking for a great kind of pink, they come in pinks and maroons, delicate foliage here to cover an arch or an arbor or scramble up a wall, think about Clematis Montana, but do think about the fact that it's a big plant eventually. It's not like your 6 to 8 foot clematis. It is going to need pruning. So this time of year, lots of things are looking messy. Things are always messy and imperfect in my garden. I want to encourage you, if your garden is not pristine looking, if you have projects that are in progress, if you have kid toys and mess out in your yard, if your dogs have, dug ruts in your pathways, that's all okay. That's real life. We don't look like a gardening magazine here. This is real life permaculture. That's okay. I always feel like things are changing and growing and succession is happening, and it's okay to be in process. Just like we as human beings are in process in our lives, we're on a journey, we're growing, we're maturing as people, we're making mistakes, and then we're learning to do better next time. Gardening is the same. It's the same kind of journey. You have to have a starting point, and you don't ever really get to a finish line, in my opinion. My rain garden is no exception. Everything is in progress. Things are shifting in and out. I take out things when they aren't correct. Things volunteer here, like this Jacob's ladder. The camera doesn't want to focus on it. Let's see if I can get in here and get her to cooperate. There we go. Jacob's ladder has this pollen that's electric yellow and these lovely pale pink blossoms. They also come in white and purple, but I have a pink variety. It volunteered here. No idea why it's here, other than it chose to come up from seed on its own. Same with this Nigella in the middle of it. I find that if I just open myself up to the idea that plants might know where they want to grow better than I do, I have more success in my garden. So I tend to leave volunteers alone unless they're in a path or they're really blocking other plants. So once again, let's just talk about mess and real life gardening. I always have things in the paths. I'm always working on projects. Nothing is ever exactly how I want it. And I've got to embrace the chaos. I've got to embrace the fact that nature is always about a succession. Nature is always shifting from disequilibrium to equilibrium. There's disturbances, there's new factors, new plants, new creatures that are migrating in. There is cyclical seasonal change, and I just need to embrace that in my garden as well. It's okay if things are a mess. It's okay if I have only gotten this far on this bed border and I haven't gotten all the way down to the start of my raspberries. It's okay if my raspberries have all of last year and the year before's little extra bits of twine that hold them up still on the ends. Once these girls leaf out and get full of foliage and set with flowers and raspberries, nobody can see anyway. Who cares? Someone asked me what I did with my lilacs I just bought. I put them in 1-gallon pots immediately, and they're here in a sheltered location. They're here with my bay tree that I got from Goodwin Creek Gardens, and also some weeds that I pulled up this morning, and the pot that I haven't put away from my bay tree. So again, chaos. Again, just trying to embrace the fact that things are in flux. In nature, it's the same way. Phases of equilibrium and disequilibrium. New plants, new species, new animals migrate in and out. There is seasonal, cyclical change. There is disturbance in the form of natural forces and natural events. That's okay. Things are never going to be stagnant. That's what makes a garden interesting to me, is that there's always something to do. There's always progress. There's always change. There's always room for improvement. There's always room to increase abundance. For me, that's what makes gardening exciting and worthwhile. And that's one of the reasons I got into permaculture, is because it is a journey and it is a movement toward creating abundance and creating beauty and creating sustainable food systems for people. And that is all about slow, small solutions. So it's about appreciating the journey while we're on the way as much as it is about the destination. So thanks for watching. I hope that gives you some encouragement as you do your own personal style of gardening in your yard. Messiness is okay. Real life permaculture is okay. There's a lot of beauty and a lot of chaos at the same time in our yard, and I am totally fine with that. It took me a long time to get to a place where I'm totally fine with it, but I am. And I think that when we can embrace the fact that things are in flux and things are imperfect and there will be ups and downs in the garden, we can enjoy the whole process a lot more. Permaculture doesn't have to be perfect. Permaculture can be effective even if it is a little chaotic, and your garden can be beautiful even if it is a little chaotic. So I hope that encourages you. Your garden can be a place of enjoyment, of rest, of progress, of beauty, of yield and productivity, even if it's not perfect. Thank you for watching as the city bus goes by. Thank you for watching. Please consider giving a thumbs up to this video if you got something out of it, and please consider subscribing and sharing it with your friends. I also have a Patreon. If you check out the description below, you can find out more about that. I do special posts once a week for my patrons, and I'm going to be doing some upcoming private video content just for patrons. So give that a little glimpse if that appeals to you. Thanks again, and I'll be back soon.